Hi everyone, today we're going to be doing some pencils. I found out that during that marker class I started to really pay a lot more attention to light and shadow, and it changed the way I'm doing my drawings, and I've had some pretty good results. These are just from photo references I found on Pinterest, and I'm not saying they're perfect or anything like that. However, once I started really paying attention to those factors, it seemed to change the way I was drawing a lot. So I'm going to try and demonstrate this. I just have to find a photo reference here. And the reference can, of course, be anything. It could be an animal, a person. I've done a lot of sort of female portraiture, but it doesn't have to be. So let's do a knight. And this isn't even a real knight, it's a knight from sculpture, but it's a really cool sculpture, so let's give it a go. One of the first things I'm going to do is kind of create a space for this drawing to be in. We could take up the whole page if we wanted to, but it's not necessary. Also, I have a spot in the middle, and I did that on purpose to try and make the webcam focus, but I don't know if it was very successful. The second thing is your Loomis stuff is of limited use. It's still useful. You're still going to need to know things about proportions, especially proportions of the head, stuff like that. However, what you really want to be doing is actually trying to draw the shapes. In this case, this is a statue of a knight. And there's still a great chance that I could get this wrong. I would say that mouths are one of the toughest things for me to draw. And you're probably thinking, it's just a line, right? You just draw a straight line. But, and that is a style that works. If you're actually trying to draw it, it's much more complicated than just a straight line. You gotta draw these lips. And I'm committed to learning it because I usually just draw, just draw a little straight line and then you're done. I'm looking out for things like midtones. Where's the shadow? It's a lion on his pauldron. And this is a mid-tone shadow because we're going to do a dark shadow down in this area down here. All right, let's throw in the darks. This is a different kind of art than I've been able to do in the past. And it all came out of taking this marker class, which got me thinking in a different way. And I think I'm just at the beginning of figuring it out. I'm not saying this is a groundbreaking style or piece of art or anything like that. But for me, it's a huge step. Like it's a big deal. And I'm hoping that it'll affect the way I do inking as well. Every little skill you get in art, it seems to have an effect on all of the other skills you get. And whether we're talking about a certain medium, a certain tool, a certain technique, a certain style, everything that you do will have an effect on the whole to whatever you're doing. Now, this is very rough, but I'm gonna go ahead and hatch in with this woodless graphite and then cross hatch the other direction. I'm going a little fast, I guess. And then cross hash in the third direction. So if you've already done you know, diagonal and horizontal, then you can do vertical. And then same over here. It smooths out a little bit of the really obvious hatching that you're doing. And then there should be like a shadow underneath the visor of the helmet right here. Also the upper lip shaded. And there it is. So, pretty good example of how maybe your style could change over time. You know, once you know how to do it, it's one of those things you just can't help but start thinking in that direction. you know. And it's definitely affected several of the pieces that I've done, which in the past have looked a lot flatter. And you know, once again, I'm not saying this is amazing, but I'm at the very beginning of figuring it out. So that's it for today. Have a great Sunday. Please like, follow, subscribe, and I will see you later.